So one of the biggest things that we know with a lot of our wheelchair athletes is, and this is carrying over to the COVID experience as a whole, is we get a lot of overuse in the front here. We are constantly moving forward way more than backwards. We are on our phones, we're at the desk, we're seated. So we want to actually do stuff to help open this up and take pressure off of our shoulders to build a little bit more stability in the upper back and allow everything to work a little bit more efficiently. So today we're going to build this workout around two options. Preferably you'll have a band and a towel. So starting out with a band pull apart, my focus here is I'm trying to really keep the ribs down, depending on where you are paralyzed. A lot of athletes that we see are, T6 to T10. And so there is that challenge to actually feel the abdominal wall brace. But working on breathing through your nose and watching what happens to your belly and then setting that down. So learning to be aware of what's happening with the diaphragm to help set everything in place. So again, if you can't feel that, one of the things you can do is look at it. And so breathe in through the nose and you see if the diaphragm and everything fills up, and then that exhale. And I like to think about shrugging my shoulders down into my lats. So I'm not staying up here, I'm exhaling and I'm sitting down into my lat. I'm driving my shoulders down into my lat. So a reverse shrug down. Keeping my arms straight, coming apart, trying to feel my shoulder blades pull together, holding for 7 to 10 seconds. And then you can go through a few reps there. I like to do 2 to 3 long iso holds from 7 to 10 seconds, and then go into about 10 to 15 reps. The biggest thing that we want to feel in this is not shrugging our shoulders up. So I'm keeping my shoulders down. I'm trying to use the low trap, get scapular movement, good mobility and action in the back, but I'm not shrugging up into my upper traps. So be really aware of that. Doing this in a mirror can really help to make sure that we aren't pulling up. So it's keeping those shoulders down, shrug down into the lats, and moving through there. Movement 2. So after you go through that, and we're going to list all the reps and everything, you're going to get your towel. You are pulling it apart. You're trying to separate it. Very slowly pulling back in. Rolling my elbows back, slowly out. I'm using the tension of pulling that apart to activate my lats and upper back. You will feel that burn. We're going to be hitting 10 to 12 reps there. If you have the band, again, this is just because I know we like to do pressing variations, and that's something that we like to do. Whatever variation you have, you're going to have the band behind you. You're stabilizing it behind the back. If you have your chair, it actually works really well to hook around the handles in the back. But I'm still shrugging down, trying to have that brace. Driving out, holding out, 5 seconds. Nice and controlled back in. Really squeezing the lat when I'm coming back in. The push-up and the press is actually a very strong movement for the back. You've got to engage it though. So pressing out explosively, pulling back in. So I am not just actively letting my arms come back in, I am pulling my back. So it's very similar to that where we split the towel and pull back, or a row variation on that push-up. I am pulling myself into this stable position right here. My lat and tricep is extremely engaged. Boom, and then I'm driving out. From there, we're going to go into a little rotation movement, core. So again, this is going to vary for where your injury is. Creating tension here again. Rotating down. back up, down, back up. One of the big things, if we don't have core control, is obviously falling forward. So again, I am focusing on my lats and trying to get my back shrugged down into that chair, bracing against the back of it and using that as my stability point. So I'm not coming forward. I am sitting tall and using this piece of my back, this lat, to engage that. So I'm holding that against the chair and I'm rotating my shoulders across, working this abdominal line. And high to low, low to high, and back. Then the next movement, can't go through it without some variation of getting a good bicep pump. So however you want, you can do it under the chair, you can do it under the legs, create tension, shooting for 15 to 20 curls. Again, I'm really focused on keeping the shoulders open and back. Okay, I'm not coming through and curling up here. Sitting tall, really pushing the lats into the chair and feeling that help stabilize. The whole thing, I want to keep this frontal plane, this chest open as much as possible and go through the reps there. A few ways that you can work this into it. You can set up a thing for time, like, all right, I'm going to do this for 12 minutes, and how many times can I go through it? Do not ever sacrifice speed for quality of movement. Or you can do anywhere from 3 to 5 sets. I am a huge believer that whether it is because you are in a chair or just we are spending so much more time seated and over our computers and phones because of the pandemic stuff going on, because of the COVID-19 stuff, that we really need to spend more time focusing on the back than the front. So we put a pressing movement in there, but we are kind of doing 3 to 1 back to front. So I hope you enjoy the workout and give me any questions you have.